to right hand.
There's the left hand, Jake goes down.
There are left hooks, and then there is the left hook of Tommy Morrison, third greatest in boxing history, harder than Tyson's according to the men who felt both. 87.5% knockout rate, 42 stoppages, 3 losses, all to world champions. The heavyweight wrecking machine who became a Hollywood star, a world champion, and the man who made the entire division question whether Iron Mike was even the scariest puncher in the room. January 2nd, 1969, Gravette, Arkansas, a dot on the map with no reason to be famous until Tommy Morrison gave it one. His father handed him gloves before the boy could spell his own name. His mother forged his ID at 15 so he could enter Toughman contests built for grown men. He knocked them out anyway. The age limit didn't apply to him. Neither did mercy. A football scholarship arrived. He ignored it. Some people are born for one thing, and the ring doesn't negotiate. Kansas City Golden Gloves, Olympic trials. One loss, to Ray Mercer, the future gold medalist. They'd meet again under very different circumstances. 202 amateur wins later, Tommy the Duke Morrison turned professional, and the heavyweight division's casualty list started getting longer.
Well, it's caused a lot of confusion with the general public. They think he's Tommy.
January 1989, the professional debut, the beginning of everything. Adams barely had time to introduce himself before Morrison decided the evening was over. This was the shark in his first open water, smelling blood from the bell, not stopping until the canvas had been painted.
A spectacular opening round knockout.
First finish, first warning. Five days later, Elvin Evans stepped in and Morrison wasted 0 seconds making his intentions clear. He ran through Evans like the man was a paper wall someone had foolishly put up between him and the exit. These weren't fights, they were public announcements.
Tommy Morrison impresses the Detroit fans.
1 week later, Morrison stormed the ring and ended Foley's night before anyone in the arena had finished their drink.
Another shocking.
He wasn't getting paid by the round. He was getting paid by the knockout, and business was booming. March 1989. Morrison is 7-0, all 7 by knockout. Here it was, the straight right, not the famous left hook, that closed the show. A detonation that left Jameson horizontal and the crowd briefly speechless, trying to process what they'd just witnessed. The man had a full arsenal, and he was learning how to reload faster each time.
Young man is undefeated in
Fight 10. McGrady had the nerve to get off the canvas the first time Morrison put him there. Big mistake.
Over one Lorenzo Boyd. That was 1 minute into the first round. Boyd, it should be pointed out, gone against Morrison, has been the 4th round.
Whoa, there he goes.
And this
An early trip to the canvas for Mike.
an early trip to the canvas for Mike.
Good hard right hand. He's looking at the wrong corner.
Brady has not fought in over a year.
The survival course here.
Getting up only switched something on in the Duke. The furnace hit maximum temperature, and the left hook that followed was less a punch than a verdict.
So that any combination thereof, and he's gone. There he is, gone.
That's the first round. 3 knockouts is all there is. It is all over.
McGrady's leg submitted the appeal. It was denied.
Knockouts is all there is.
It is all over.
Wallace, the chairman is Jerry Gormley. The 3 judges.
Jesse Shelby had 19 wins, 6 losses, and a draw. The most experienced opponent Morrison had faced so far. It didn't matter.
15 months ago, he manages himself, and this is kind of a crossroads fight for Jesse Shelby.
And a dangerous situation to be in.
Enough to attract Bill Caton. Big man on the ropes here, getting the best of it.
Jesse Shelby in trouble. Yes, early. Shelby not.
Jesse Shelby in trouble. Yes, early. Shelby not throwing much.
In round 2, the clubbing shots started landing like the sky was falling on Shelby's head, one heavy chunk at a time. The referee decided he'd seen enough. Shelby survived the round. He did not survive the onslaught.
Shelby is in a seated position and may not make it up. Frank Cappuccino with a count. He's going to keep a close eye on Shelby. I don't think he's going to let it go on, no.
Frank Cappuccino with a count. He's going to keep a close eye on Shelby. I don't think he's going to let it go on, no.
Shelby was going to have to talk Cappuccino into letting this go on, and that was going to be...
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Rick Ennis was a 36-fight veteran. Morrison stung him with a pair of uppercuts that lit up the arena.
Indiana actually had a cup of coffee, if you will, with the Denver Broncos, the National Football League.
Which I think would be a good hook. He's hurt already by the hook.
Forward left hook. Down goes Ennis. That was a thing of beauty.
The ref let it continue. Morrison interpreted that as an invitation. When the Duke locks onto a finish, there is one gear, full. No reverse, no neutral.
And that's probably going to be it.
Ennis found that out the hard way. The latest name added to a casualty list that was growing by the week.
Those Lang let it go.
One more knockout and it's over. That's it.
Well stopped by
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
David Jacko had shared the ring with Mike Tyson, George Foreman, and held a win over Donovan Razor Ruddock.
About at all times. I want you to obey my command to break.
This was not a man who folded under pressure. Morrison gave him 30 seconds to settle. Then the leaping left hook arrived.
Face a right-hander.
There's the left hand. Jacob's down and probably out.
Jacko's brain filed a missing persons report on the rest of him and went offline instantly. A man who'd survived Tyson, put to sleep by the Duke in under a minute.
That's it.
Well, the Morrison left hook, which is the first punch he threw. I guess we'll have to wait for a...
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Harry Terrell was battle-tested and came ready for war. He even made it to the end of the first round, more than most could say. Then Morrison came out for round 2 with that locked-in focus, not looking to outbox anyone, just hunting. The overhand right that ended it sent Terrell somewhere beyond the reach of the ringside doctor. Morrison's 18th professional win, delivered without ceremony.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
9 days between fights. Hosted her at 16-5 was the kind of opponent designed to keep Morrison sharp. Morrison stalked him, measured him, waited. Then the left hook arrived like a late bill, sudden, unavoidable, and with serious consequences. The 1989 campaign of destruction was building to something the heavyweight world wasn't ready for.
Victim of Tommy Morrison.
Tommy, get off me!
You knocked him, won't you try knocking me down?
In 1990, Morrison did something almost no professional heavyweight had managed before. He paused the knockout streak, picked up a script, and played Tommy Gunn, Rocky Balboa's protege, in Rocky V alongside Sylvester Stallone. Stallone had watched Morrison fight and seen something that belonged on a screen. The power, the charisma, the mythology of the great white hope with the nuclear left hand. For 6 months, Morrison was a movie star. The film premiered. The world took notice. For a moment, it genuinely seemed like boxing's most dangerous young heavyweight might choose Hollywood over the ring. The ring disagreed.
Heavyweight
Fight 24, the Hollywood comeback fight. Mike Acey had the misfortune of being selected to test whether 6 months on a film set had softened anything.
Say this, but in this particular case, I don't think I'd go too far with that robe. No. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Down to one knee from a right hand. 5, 6.
The left hook informed him immediately that it had not, planting Acey on the canvas like a flag in freshly conquered territory.
That was a left hand.
Let's just be nice, compact, short left hook. Kind of an arm punch, but still very powerful.
6, 7.
When he tried to recover, Morrison's right was already waiting. The break had changed nothing.
So much for that. So much for that.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
James Tillis was a man built from heavyweight scar tissue. He'd gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, the first man in history to take him the distance. He'd faced Holyfield, Shavers, Bruno. This was a certified litmus test. Morrison was patient, measured. He circled, probed, waited. More disciplined than anyone had seen from him before. Then he sensed an opening.
Morrison able to work the body very well. Still trying to really get himself back in, but good left hand, down goes Tillis.
And when Morrison senses an opening, the gears don't gradually shift. They snap.
Tillis shakes his head, says, I'm not sure I want a lot more of this. Doesn't appear to be hurt.
I think he's shocked that he got nailed with that.
Set up a body shot. Another left hand. Tillis is in trouble.
And this is a very small ring.
And a good combination again by Morrison. A left and a right behind it. An uppercut, and down goes Tillis. And that took 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Of trouble, and as you see, still halfway to go in the first round. Ain't gonna take much, folks.
The left hook arrived like a verdict being read out. No preamble, no warning, maximum sentence.
This is a very good effort by Morrison, even if we're wondering if Tillis is... Well, there it is.
That's it.
Tillis went down. Easy work against a man who'd taken Tyson to the final bell.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
So Tommy...
Former WBC heavyweight champion, a man who had survived Mike Tyson. Pinklon Thomas was the most legitimate test of Morrison's career so far, and he arrived with genuine danger attached. From the opening bell, Morrison went to the body with the systematic patience of a man who'd already decided the result. Head, body, head again.
Tillis ended very quickly in the first round.
That was the biggest name he has faced.
He worked Thomas over like a building being stripped for parts. Methodical, relentless, no interest in leaving anything standing. A former world champion, a man who'd survived Iron Mike, shut down between rounds by a 22-year-old from Arkansas with bad intentions and a left hook that belonged in a museum.
I'm through, he said.
And Tommy Morrison finds out to talk with Tommy Morrison.
A spot on the Holyfield versus Foreman undercard. The biggest stage of Morrison's career so far, in front of the audience that shapes legacies. Volin was 10-1 and came ready. This one went longer than Morrison's fans were used to.
Well, actually, he's one of the few of the Soviet big left hook of Morrison's.
But the Duke kept investing in the body, round by round, shot by shot.
Doing some damage with both hands. Roundhouse. And the final seconds of this first round of the heavyweight fight. Morrison.
Every rib shot was a withdrawal from an account Volin didn't know he was overdrawn on.
A little blood around the mouth of Morrison.
Well, he's taking several jabs right up the chin, and that opened him up rather early.
Hands up, hands
He's
up.
certainly in a dogfight here against the Russian fighter.
Well, Tommy Gunn.
A left caught fight through the first four, and Morrison still tied with a big left hand. And Baul is hurt.
Body shot. Out of him.
moving. Hey, okay.
Gallagher telling him not to quit, and he doesn't. But he sure looked on the verge of it. Oh, and Baulen hurt again. Turned his back. That's got to be it.
By the time the balance hit zero, Morrison had made his point. He belonged on the big stage.
That's it.
That's it.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Ladislaw Mijangos had one job: survive as long as possible and hope Morrison had an off night. Morrison didn't have off nights.
Ladislaw Mijangos
for Tommy Morrison. Well, as I said, this is about in which Tommy Morrison wants to get in the round, get in the ring, get out, which he will quickly.
The speed and timing were a dialect Mijangos had never been taught to speak, and the combo that closed the show landed like the punchline of a joke he never saw coming.
Throw that hook, and he does have a devastating left hook.
Well, that's it.
40 seconds. I bet I can make my interview go longer than the fight. I think you probably could. All right. I think you
Record: 28-0. The heavyweight world was out of excuses.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
April 1992. Morrison stringing wins back together, reminding himself what he was.
Okay, gentlemen, you're boxing by the rules of the state of Connecticut.
G. Robinson, I did too.
That was actually very good.
Most of his power emanates from the left hook. We'll see if that weapon is going to land against Odo.
Working the jab and then a good
Punishment to Morrison was ultimately knocked out.
Odo kept Morrison off of it that time. Good shot there and got hurt on it. Yeah, interesting, just in terms of numbers, things are very even in that series.
I'll let Jolson go for another night.
Morrison.
Big right hand by Morrison. Well, I keep talking about his left having power, but there is power in the right too. The punches Morrison landed would have knocked him out. Morrison just didn't fall.
I promise. Right hand.
He throws those punches fast. I'm not exactly sure though. He's going to fight Art Tucker, then he's going to fight Joe Hip. More representative and tougher guys than Camilo Loda.
makes himself, in my opinion, an excellent fighter. It's short, it's compact, and it's quick. He has good
body work for Morrison. Go to the body and then come up there. That's an uppercut by Odom. He's been hurt by what Morrison is throwing.
When he cornered Odom in round 3, there was no hesitation. The straight right that ended it looked like an attempt to separate Odom's head from the rest of his responsibilities. Weapon grade, heavyweight power. The comeback was real.
by Morrison. It's not some lucky punch. There it is. And he did it again, didn't he? That's the second replay.
Now it is well stopped.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Tommy Morrison is...
The 23 Art Tucker was Morrison's next fight, just 3 weeks later.
Well, we presume that he did I think he's almost mentally coming to the point where that's what I am.
And once he had Tucker hurt, once he had him fearing the left hook, it was practically game over. Even by Morrison's lofty standards, this was a truly brutal knockout victory.
Well, it's simple. Oh, man. I was just going to say it's simple.
Tommy the Duke
The 24-2 Joe Hip was supposed to be another step on the comeback trail. He turned out to be a stress test. Morrison didn't get the fast finish here.
Here. These are two fighters that predominantly like to fight straight ahead. Look back in April of 1991, that was actually on the Holyfield Foreman.
Hip was durable, dangerous, and somewhere in the chaos, Morrison broke his jaw. He kept going.
Which he hasn't done much of.
Yeah, Tommy a bitch now that he's going to the law. I mean, you learn from it.
With a broken jaw and a fight slipping away from him, Morrison found his opening in round 9 and emptied the entire tank. A man running on structural damage and sheer refusal, setting the ring on fire one final time before the night could be taken from him.
Yep, hip bleeding from the mouth.
Oh, Tommy had a lot of energy, and he made me right.
Born, grew up in Yakima, Washington. You can't fight with your mouth open. Oh, a good right hand. It's Joe Hip. Joe Hip is in trouble. Joe Hip is down.
The full angle. The left missed. The right hand landed. The left and another right. Boy, the right hand doing almost all the damage. That uppercut missed, but Joe was just not in position.
The right hand. Here, next punch. Right there. I don't think Joe Hip. I don't think either.
Official scorecard.
He got the stoppage. A champion finds a way when the plan is already in pieces.
Talk to both fighters. They've got a lot to say. Stay with us. We'll be back here.
Carl "The Truth" Williams had challenged for world titles. He came in swinging and actually dropped Morrison twice in round 5. What happened next said everything about Tommy Morrison.
Right there, I'm not going to Carlo. Okay, we've already had your instruction in the dressing room.
The only question here is whether Williams can keep his left hand out and his right hand up and make a real fight of it.
That is the key, and I noticed that Williams' trunks are a little high. If I was in Morrison's corner,
Right to the right hand, and Mills Lane says, don't do that again. And there's the left hook, and down goes Carl.
At the end of the round than he was on this knockdown. That landed high on the head, stunned him early in the round.
Usually, he came over the top with it.
And that wasn't even just a little bit more than a minute into the bout. Williams is Morrison's cheek. And Morrison lands another left hook, and Carl will be wobbling a little bit.
He came back at Morrison. Seemed that way to me. Threw some beautiful combinations.
And another left hand, and down goes. And this time he's hurt a little bit more badly.
Now let's see what kind of a finisher Tommy Morrison is.
Morrison trying to finish it.
still plenty of time in the round.
And there's that left hook and right hand in the crowd. Right hand by Williams.
Very stationary. I think it should be moving a little more.
Good right hand by Williams, and down goes Morrison. It's Tommy Morrison's future as a heavyweight contender that's on the line. Morrison lands a left hook, but Williams pounds it.
He got up both times, absorbed the punishment like it was fuel rather than damage, and came back in the later rounds to force the referee to intervene.
There's that left hook.
And it again. Morrison a little bit forehead from Morrison. That's right, there's a left hook.
The Lionheart was real. The world title was within reach.
And now Carl's a little wobbly. And there's another left hook. And Morrison's got a chance to finish him off.
Williams is already busted up. And Mills Lane.
Tommy, the Duke Morrison.
I'm only here to do one thing, to fight. I'm here to win. I'm in it to win it now. Before, I was just messing around. Now I'm here. I'm back. I have God in my heart and God in my mind. I'm right here. I have nothing to fear. I'm ready to fight.
Terry Anderson was a 20-8 veteran who had seen the inside of enough fights to know how to survive. He hadn't seen Tommy Morrison in 1995. This version was colder, more calculated.
Tommy Morrison, it is a very, very small home field advantage. It's a home ring. I'm just guessing Kevin's a Republican. I don't know why. I'm just thinking, West government.
Morrison stalked Anderson like a lumberjack who had already decided which tree was coming down. Just a matter of picking the right swing.
By knockouts. Good right to the body by Morrison. That's what is made. He whacked Terry Anderson on the break. Kevin, no, but the knees wobbled. Good right again by Morrison. Now he is teeing off, and there goes Terry Anderson from the right hand. Rounds, Terry Anderson was quite competitive. Now he's getting nailed with big shots.
Round by round, shot by shot, he stripped Anderson of every option until round 7, when the final chop landed and the whole thing came crashing down.
Last round, the round before that, very close.
Big body shot.
And that was a beautiful left hook to the body. It sent Anderson down in the heat. That was vintage Tommy Morrison with the left hook to the body. And over.
Donovan Razor Ruddock, the owner of the Smash, a left uppercut so concussive it had Mike Tyson himself filing a risk assessment.
There'll be no judging.
From the first bell, he proved it, sending Morrison to the canvas with the kind of violence that rearranges a man's priorities. Morrison got up, reset, and proceeded to dismantle the most durable heavyweight of the era, round by round, systematically.
Good move. That's a Tyson move almost, Bert. He doubled up. Again. Good jab. Best jab.
The way a surgeon works, no wasted movement, no wasted energy, just the quiet accumulation of damage.
Another right by Morrison.
Ruddock was wobbled there.
A left wobbled him.
Took a good left hook. Morrison
Both
hurt
of them.
again.
Oh!
Shit!
Holy Christ! And he gets up.
Not the time to get involved.
By the time the referee stepped in, Ruddock's legs had already submitted their resignation. The man who survived Tyson twice, gone in 6.
The 6th round, Ashton Best. No!
Between the Ruddock win and this night in Japan, the world had rearranged itself into something unrecognizable. Tommy Morrison tested positive for HIV. Every commission suspended him. He had faced a diagnosis more frightening than anything that had ever stood across a ring from him. Japan was the only jurisdiction that would license him to fight. The 15-1 Marcus Road was the man between Morrison and one final night under the lights.
He feels too. He hasn't fought in a year. He's been training only for about a month.
From the opening bell, Morrison hunted the finish with the quiet focus of a man who understood this was the closing line of the last chapter and had decided it would not end in a whisper. The right hand that finished it was not desperate, not sentimental, devastating. The same weapon, the same violence, the same Tommy Morrison who had been extinguishing opponents since 1988.
Keith Haring, whose New York Subway and the T-shirt is with what Tommy Morrison is going through. This fight is over.
The lights went out for Marcus Road in round 1. And then Tommy Morrison walked out of the ring for the last time as a Prime-Era heavyweight.
And Garza is donating his purse.
48 wins, 3 losses, 42 knockouts. The men who faced him all gave the same answer when asked who hit the hardest. Not Tyson, not Foreman, not Ruddock, Morrison. 3rd greatest left hook in boxing history. Tommy the Duke Morrison. See you next time.